At some point in FUBU, you didn't know how everything worked, right?
At every point in FUBU. Yeah.
So,
I tried to, but at every point in FUBU, I didn't know how everything worked.
but like when a new person starts, when your 50th or 100th person starts, you're not the one that's able to teach them, right?
Correct.
And so what's crazy about some of these legacy tools is that you have one person or something in the business that's designing all the training for the business.
Yeah.
That can't work.
Yeah, and they've been doing it their way, the way that they process information. I don't process information the same exact way either.
Yeah. And so in a business, I think the knowledge is crowdsourced. Everybody starts to figure out the best practices, and then you've got to feed them back into something central so that now everyone knows the best practice way to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all on the same page. This is the way that we execute, and this is the way that it has worked for us, right? It goes with a lot of the ways that the internal, culture of the company and the external culture of the company.
Yeah.
They say that it takes approximately 21 days for an employee to treat a customer the way they're being treated. Internally, you are not on the same page, and then externally, you're executing that. Your brand or your service or your company could be totally, different than how you founded it.
In this video, we'll be exploring some of the differences between a business playbook and other types of tools that are commonly used in an organization for capturing information, like wikis or learning management systems. I'll go through and highlight the different characteristics of each of these categories so you can really see how a business playbook has this unique approach. Number 1, wiki. A wiki is really just a blank place to write things down, right? We've all used some kind of wiki or intranet, and you end up with all these different pages with all this different content. It's kind of a mess. The good news is you're capturing knowledge and information about your business. The bad news is it's a disaster. You don't really control who has access to what information, and it becomes a dumping ground where everything looks different, it's formatted differently, you don't know what's up to date, and it's just kind of a mess to learn as somebody new in the organization. Number 2 is an LMS, or a learning management system, which honestly, I didn't even know what that stood for when I first got started. The reason is most big companies are the ones that are shopping for an LMS. They're really expensive. They require you to have a learning and development team and to be a professional course author or kind of person in order to build that SCORM content. That wasn't for me. The main difference between a playbook and something like a wiki is how it's organized, how it's structured. A playbook has places for you to document all the different pieces of your business, whereas a wiki is kind of like a blank page. An LMS is a course authoring service that lets you build courses for a very particular thing. And like a college course, maybe it's something you go through once and never look back. But a playbook, on the other hand, is a living, breathing document about your business, something that you're referencing all the time, looking at on the go, and adjusting on the fly as things change in your company. An LMS is great for accountability. You can actually train and track that people have gone through the content. A wiki doesn't have any accountability. A wiki is a blank document that you look at and you never know who looked at it and when they looked at it. And so a playbook is kind of somewhere in the middle. It's easy to update and edit, but it's also tracking who's seen what and when it was last updated. People can record knowledge in a lot of ways. There's those old legacy kind of tools. There's just documents. There's paper. There's like wikis where you just kind of dump a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Have you tried any of those things or had problems with any of those things in the past?
I've tried many of those things. However, to be truthful, as as a founder or a boss, I expected that my others would do it because I'm trying to do my job. And if you are hired as HR, management, senior, whatever the case is, I assume that you executed that properly. And how many times did I come back and go, wait a minute, they didn't even do that properly. So what would I expect? I should have had time to do that. Oh, I'm sorry, I was doing something else to keep the business alive.
Yeah. So if you're not doing it, which typically the founder is not the one doing it when you get above a certain size, then you've got to have the people that put the attention into this.
It became too overwhelming. And so I didn't realize you probably an HR person for every 50 or whatever, 100 people. But now how am I going to train them to then train them? I don't know what a lot of people are going to deal with, but If I had a system that was continuous that could, first of all, train me, then train them, and then pass on, then it would have made my life much easier, and I would have probably saved about 20 to 30% of my time to be more, to be used more wisely on actually addressing the business, not working in the business, but working on the business.
There's a lot of different ways to document the knowledge in your business. We talked about a wiki and an LMS, but there's others too. There's task and project management tools, which are really meant for doing the work in the business, not learning how to do the work. Then there's online documents, places you'd write things down like Google Docs or Word Docs or Dropbox folders. That stuff is best reserved for the actual work documents that you're producing and collaborating on in the business. It's not really for training or tracking or testing. A playbook sits in the middle as this place where you can hold people accountable for seeing the latest content in your business, where you can update it, you can edit it, and you can search for content when and where you need it. First and foremost, your playbook has to be accessible. Unlike paper documents and folders, it needs to be something that you can find when and where you need it. It's got to be available on the go. You've got to be able to pull it up on mobile, and you've got to be able to access it outside of just in the classroom. A good playbook is searchable because it's not just about learning the content once, it's about having access to the content whenever you need it. So when you have a question in the business, you should be able to type that question or that search into your playbook and find the relevant answers. Your playbook should be collaborative. Unlike a learning management system that your L&D department might create, a playbook is created by everyone. Everybody has a piece in how the business operates, and everyone can surface new best practices to make your company run optimally. So a playbook is really collaborative because everyone has a role in it. A good playbook is instructive. It's guiding you through an experience of actually learning how to do the thing or learning about your business. Whereas a checklist might be useful when you're doing some task, it's not great at teaching you how to do the task. Playbooks are fluid. That means you can update them at any time as your business changes. Your company is always changing, and how you do what you do is always evolving. An LMS, on the other hand, is often locked in with difficult course authoring software that not anyone can just jump into and edit. One of the most important attributes of a playbook is that it has structure to it. Unlike a pile of paper or unorganized wiki, structured playbooks have a place to put certain knowledge about your business. They have a place for your handbook, a place for your SOPs, a place for your people's bios and backgrounds and your roles and responsibilities. But with an unstructured framework of an intranet or a wiki, you just kind of get lost. And finally, a good playbook is trackable. That means you know which person has looked at which part of your playbook and when. You want to have some accountability. Close the loop so that when you share something with somebody, you know that they've seen it, that they understand it, and that they've seen the latest version. These 7 attributes of a playbook are what makes a business playbook different from all those other categories, from wikis and knowledge bases, from intranets and documents and learning management systems, and checklists and process management tools. A playbook has these 7 attributes exclusively.
We're moving into a day and age that after, everything happened, everybody, even, the most senior people are communicating through devices. But listen, I'm thinking about my daughter. She's going to be saying probably when she becomes an adult, my parents had money that was physical. It was actually paper and coins. Maybe that's how they all got COVID, right? Passing it around. And you go and hand somebody a manual or a book today who's a digital native. What are they going to say?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like showing somebody a rotary phone right now. That's not really that old, technically, right? But you have a 15-year-old, you've probably seen it on social media. You show a 15-year-old a rotary phone and tell them a dollar number, see what happens. See what happens. Yeah. So, it's also talking to them and communicating them with the way that they communicate. And it saves time and it's so much faster.
No cap. Isn't that what the kids say now?
No cap. No.
Cap.
Yeah, I think so.
Your business playbook helps your company run like a finely tuned machine. And as you're pursuing your company's goals, You want your machine to be running as well as it possibly can. So a business playbook gets everybody operating in the right cadence and doing things with consistency and the best practice that you expect. That's what helps you achieve your goals faster than if you didn't have one. No two businesses are the same, just like no two snowflakes are the same. Your business will be different than my business, will be different than anyone's business that's watching this video. But even though a business playbook structure can be the same company to company, the business playbook's content will always be different. Your playbook is customized to how you want to operate your business and the goals that you want to achieve in your business. And by defining those goals and setting those expectations in your playbook, you're getting everyone on the same page to make it more likely that you reach your goals. If you really want to create a playbook, it's going to take some time. There's no getting around that. But it's definitely a catch-22. The more time that you invest in your playbook and in perfecting the systems in your business, the more time you'll save yourself and buy yourself later. If you can invest time up front to make sure that everybody's operating consistently, then you'll have fewer errors, fewer returns, fewer mistakes and customer complaints down the road. And that saves you time and lets you scale more quickly. So put the effort in up front. That's the important piece that I'm trying to teach here. All right, at this point, maybe you're thinking, I can't do this. No way. I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I don't even know how to document a business playbook. I'm not a good writer. For all those reasons, that's why people don't do this work. But that's also why most businesses never scale to the point that they're having true success and why so many businesses fail. If you want to stay around for the long haul, if you want to eventually sell the company or have an amazing lifestyle business that's generating the life that you want, you need to be able to put the work in up front to creating that structure. It doesn't happen on its own. You get to decide how you want this business to run, but you have to put the work in to actually documenting it like you want it to run. And you don't have to do it alone. So this isn't a job for just you. It's a job for the entire company, for everyone to contribute to, or even for some external contractor to come in and help you get to the finish line. I remember being in this accelerator program for businesses that were scaling. And the crazy thing is that all of the businesses that scaled beyond $1 million in revenue to multiple millions in revenue were the ones that had figured out how to package their business up and how to assign roles and responsibilities and how to open up additional locations and how to scale. The ones that never made it through that threshold were the ones where people were just too tightly holding on to those responsibilities. They could never tell the story of their business. They could never have success onboarding new people. And I really believe that having a business playbook is the differentiator. It's what helps you get from here to there.